Hi. In this video, I'm going to talk about what laid the foundation for my career. Now, my career happened to be in IT, but the stuff I'm going to talk about is applicable to just about any career, because it talks about what needs to happen before you actually have a career. So there I was after college. It was 1998. I was an English major with a minor in art and architecture. So needless to say, I had plenty of time on my hands. And that led me to do some interesting things with my life. For one thing, I entered a master's program, which proved very useful later on. But that's maybe a discussion for another video. The other thing that I did was that I unknowingly laid the foundation for my IT career. Now, I'd worked the help desk enough in college, just a little bit of help desk, and so I helped people with their computers, just basic stuff. But it got me interested in IT, and I thought, why don't I build a computer, a Windows computer, because I'd been working with Macs. And I knew Macs, but I figured I should also know Windows. And I decided to build a computer from components. Back then, it was a little more difficult than it is today to find the proper components, the compatible components for a computer where all the drivers played together nicely. But I did it. And after I built that computer and installed Windows on it, I began to play around with the components inside Windows, like Internet Information Server and SQL Server and Systems Management Server and Access databases and ASP code. And I started building simple websites at first, and then started to build more complicated websites that called to Access databases and performed various operations on the databases. And I got to the point where I actually built what you could call nowadays a web platform for publishing things. And so I got to the point where I built this all on an ASP running off an Access database, where I could log into my own admin panel that I'd built, coded everything myself, except the text box that allowed me to input text into pages. That was, thankfully, that came pre-packaged. It was available at the time. So it's like this text editor that you could integrate into an ASP web page. And call it up and then write with it. And it was sort of like, if you've used WordPress nowadays, you log into the admin panel on WordPress and you can publish posts, you can publish pages, you can delete posts, you can edit them, you can insert images, that sort of thing. It was like that. It was more basic, because back then it just wasn't as, the web stuff just wasn't as developed as it is today. But it could do all those things. So it was kind of neat. And I actually had about 2 or 3 of my websites running on that platform that I built myself. And so to recap here, I'd started from building a computer from scratch, so working with the hardware, to installing the software on it, to installing system components, and then to building software using the system components and the various knowledge that I learned. And I was so passionate about that stuff back then that I would stay up at nights, many a night, working on this stuff and learning and cramming and trying to get it all in my head and understand it and be able to get to the point where I could actually use it practically. And at the time, I was also juggling the master's program, so I was doing those 2 things. And it was kind of an interesting time in my life. That's how I laid the foundation for my IT career, because without even knowing it, by working on all of those things, and by demanding of myself that I actually do something practical with the bits of knowledge that I gained, that I learned how to integrate it and put it all together and make something that worked, I actually became proficient in IT, and I was able to go out and get jobs, really good jobs in IT, in advance to where I was a director of IT for a hospital, which is where my master's also came in, because I did a master's in healthcare administration. So when I became a director of IT at that hospital, I was combining my IT knowledge with my master's in healthcare. So the two things went together very nicely. But back when I was just doing this stuff, when I was building the computer and when I was doing the master's program, I didn't think that they'd come together at some point. I did them because I thought they would be useful. And lo and behold, they came together very nicely. So the lesson here, the takeaway from this is that you should follow your passion. It doesn't have to be necessarily IT. Whatever it is, after school, when you find yourself with plenty of time on your hands, because trust me, you'll never have all that time back again, follow your passion. What really interests you? What keeps you up at night? What is it that you would like to do, or you would like to learn how to do? That's Ginger, one of my cats. She's chiming in as well with her support. But follow that passion and then do it. Do it because that's a really good time to learn. You're young, you're energetic, you can stay up lots of nights. You can learn the stuff, you can cram through it, and it'll help you later in life. You don't even realize how it's going to help you, but somehow things will work out, and that experience, that knowledge that you gained doing all of those things will be very useful for you later on. So for example, if you're interested in IT, then my suggestion for you right now would be to build, yes, it's still relevant, to build a computer. Now the variation on this is that you should try to challenge yourself and build a triple boot computer. What do I mean by that? I mean a computer that can boot into Windows and into Mac OS and into Linux at the same time, because that'll require very specific configurations and things that'll break, which you'll have to fix, things that you'll have to keep looking up online so you can fix, system extensions, boot up help, all sorts of things that are very useful to learn if you want to work in IT. And you should definitely get IIS working on Windows, if that's still the web server that they use on Windows. Also get LAMP working on Windows, get LAMP working on Mac OS, definitely get LAMP working on Linux, and install websites or install platforms like WordPress on them, or whatever coding platform you want to use, framework, whatever you want to use. Install those things on that computer and get it working, and get websites working on that, and build websites using those frameworks, and test them and break them and improve them and develop them. And that's how you're going to learn. There's no substitute for that. There's no course that will get you there. It's got to be this real hands-on experience where you run up into walls all the time, run up into issues, and you have to power through them. You have to get past them. That's really going to be the teaching experience for you, the best teaching experience possible for you. This learning process that we undertake when we're impassioned by something is the foundation for everything that we do later in life in that particular field. And it doesn't work if you just go take a course. It's not a classroom experience kind of thing. It's got to be something that you make and break and fix that's going to be key. That's going to be the stuff that really helps you advance in your career. That's going to be the stuff that you build on later on. That's going to be the stuff that when you're older, you go, oh my God, I am so thankful I did that stuff when I was young. I am so thankful I took that time and just played around and learned it without even realizing it. So I would definitely encourage you to take on a project like that. Okay. Thanks for sticking around on this long video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.